How are you?
Hi, Jay. Very good, Kelly. My goodness me, so long since I've seen you.
Yes, it's been ages.
Looking very beautiful.
Thank you. So are you. I'm going
Oh,
to.
do you like my backdrop? Isn't it gorgeous?
Yes, it's absolutely lovely. We had to take ours down because it was stopping our volume.
Oh,
I know.
all right.
It was weird. But anyway, it is what it is, and we're all here together sharing our journey.
Beautiful and empowering lives.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about.
I'm going to turn it around now so you can see everybody and everyone can see you.
Oh, awesome.
And the rest of the world.
And the rest of the world.
Can you see everyone?
That's better. Yeah, I can now. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
How it going? Are you all having a lovely day?
Yeah, we're having an amazing day.
Yeah, you're in the most beautiful surrounds there. I'm so envious. It's absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait when our borders open. I'll come over and have a look at that gorgeous shop.
It's beautiful. I walked in here and I went, wow, the energy in here is unbelievable. Coming from the people who own it and run it, it's just amazing.
Yeah, can feel it from here, really. It's really lovely. So I hope everyone's been having a fabulous day with all the great speakers and inspiration for you. And what I wanted to have a chat with you about is to be able to live with a free heart. So we all know there's no free lunches in this life, right? But we can have a free heart. Our heart as the physical is, of course, so vital to our well-being and so vital to our life because it pumps our life force around, being our blood. But on the emotional level, when our heart is constricted and our heart is caught up in a tremendous amount of emotion, it actually affects the physical heart and it prevents you from being able to be a well-being. So in your heart of hearts is where you have unconditional love, unconditional acceptance. So how many of you in this beautiful audience can say you have unconditional acceptance of everything around you, everything that life offers you? You never have one grumble, nothing's ever a problem. It's a tough thing, it's a tough gig to have unconditional acceptance. Most people find unconditional love a bit of a challenge as well. So having a strong heart, both physically and emotionally, is your foundation to being a well-being. As a former qualified scrub nurse in the theatres, have I got any nurses in the audience by any chance? Not today? Okay, well, as a former scrub nurse in the theatres, we found that in the intensive care unit on the heart ward, over 80% of the people in there were actually small business owners. So how many of you are small business owners? Yeah, up there in that high category of risk. And the reason for it is that as a small business owner, you invest so much of yourself. Am I right? You invest a tremendous amount of yourself into your business. You even pour so much love into your business. But where does that love come back to you when you're working tirelessly to be of service, to help other people, all from your heart? So it was really interesting to find that over 80% of people in the intensive care unit in the heart ward were actually small business owners. The stress that we bring into our heart eventually affects the heart as well as love. So while I was nursing, I was able to experience through caring for others all the things that people take into their heart. And we actually nursed a beautiful couple, an elderly couple, for many years because they were in the permanent care area of the hospital. But then the gentleman died, or passed away, passed to the next world. And his beautiful wife that he'd been married to for ever such a long time, she just could not deal with the fact that he was gone And we watched her just fade away, and she literally died of a broken heart. She was so brokenhearted that he'd gone. So our heart takes a real hammering in our life, and that in turn impacts on everything else. And I'd like to share with you something else that might surprise some of you. Have many of you got pets? Do you have dogs, cats in particular? Next door to me here, I'm in Perth, next door to me, the people had 2 dogs that had grown up together from pups. And one of them, unfortunately, had a rather miserable passing, we'll say. And ever since he's been gone, the little girl dog that's been left, she's gone really grey around her muzzle. Her eyes have got a cloudedness over them, and she doesn't hold her tail up anymore. She's grieving. So, you know, losing love in our life affects not only humans, but it affects animals too, because love is such a powerful emotion, right? Love is everything, and love is the greatest healer. Some would say it's also the most damaging, because when we are spurred in love, or when our love is tossed away and we don't feel good enough anymore, or we don't feel love in our heart anymore, we're like that little puppy dog. We drop our tail down and life doesn't seem to look too good anymore. But the thing is that when you have the unconditional love for yourself, and when you can understand the unconditional acceptance of yourself, your heart is powerfully strong. Now, I like to look at it from the holistic point of view. I'm a holistic intervention practitioner. So to have a powerfully strong physical heart means that you need to be able to be very well accomplished with your emotional heart, meaning that you need to really be able to understand how you work with the curveballs that life throws, with the emotions that you experience through what life brings to you. And it's no easy feat, right? There's nothing much easy about this life for sure. But I think that the most amazing journey you can take yourself on is to be able to understand you on a much deeper level yourself, because you're incredible. I was working with a married couple over the weekend, and the gentleman is having a very difficult time. And he said, when and how is everything going to align? So he's a small business owner, and he sets himself such very tall bars of expectation, very tall bars to achieve in his business, and then on a personal level as well. So I talked to him about things being aligned, and before I could finish, he said, so when is everything going to align? And I said, oh, when is everything going to align? And he said, yes, when's everything in my business, the people that work for me, the things I want to achieve, when is that going to align? And I said, when you are aligned. When you align to yourself, everything else will align. So your heart is what takes all this on. And this is where we get plaque build up in the heart. It's where the valves of the heart are not able to function properly. We get myopia of the heart, all sorts of heart conditions, hardening of the aortic valve, the aortic line, and all the beautiful big arteries that go in and out of the heart. They suffer every time we find a place of suffer in our life. So for each one of you being here today and stepping forward to be able to find new ways of looking at your life, new ways of embracing who you are, I'd like to really encourage you to look at your heart from the way that you feel about things in your day. You know, our emotions are so very quick to arise unless we're able to breathe ourselves back and step back from a situation. And then we can curve that big emotional surge. So we save our heart every time we do that. So you can actually save your heart from going into a gripping spasm through an emotional rush by being quick to check your thoughts and take a lovely breath. The power of the breath is something that is spoken about such a lot these days. But from a physiological point of view, your breath really is your life-saving point. So taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, really letting things go. God, I don't know about you, but I was over that song, but it's true about letting it go. So letting it go from your physical so that your heart can breathe and be free. The thing about having a free heart from the physical point of view obviously means that it works to its fullest capacity and it stays very strong. But when you have a free heart, you find that you have an abundance in your life of everything that you desire, everything that you want. Now, for me, abundance is about health. But for many people that I ask, of course, the first thing that comes to mind is success, money. But for me and my experience as a nurse, without our health, we have no abundance in anything. Would you agree with that? Would you all agree that you've got to be well to be able to have abundance?
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you, Kelly.
We agree with you, Gwenda.
Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful. Living, I'm soaking up that energy while I'm looking at you there. So a heart that is free is a heart that is energetically free, is a heart that holds no judgment, holds no grudges, you know, all the typical things you can think of. But the reason that I come to your heart is because when you can hear the song of your heart, you can hear the messages of your soul stronger. So to have a heart that is able to breathe in and out and push the blood around your body on a physiological level with the greatest of ease, then you have a heart that is free of judgment, free of envy, free of comparison, free of striving to be someone, striving to be accepted. Anybody ever been there? Striving to be accepted, striving to be liked. Thank you for the ahama. So we don't have panic or restriction or anxiety when our heart is free. And when the heart is free and the soul speaks, you can hear that beautiful, gentle voice with the greatest of ease. And that's where you get clarity, where you get vitality, and where you can really surge your life forward in the way that you want it to be. Now, none of us are under any false assumptions that this life was ever going to be a doddle in the park, right? This life was never going to be about rocking into a sweet shop and going, I'll have 10 of everything, and then walking out, clicking your heels together, going, that was mighty fine. We all know that this life has challenges. If only when we arrived into the world, we had something tattooed on our butt that said, get ready for this ride, and expect to take some curves that are like tighter than a hairpin bend, we might have had an inkling to have known a little bit more about our way of responding to things. We might have had more of an inkling to know that by the time we're 4 and the way that we're responding is not actually who we are, but it's who we have watched others be. But we don't get that. We don't get a lovely scroll that says, this is how you're going to escape all the hurdles and humps in this world. Because you came here after all for the experience. So you've got to lock yourself in tight, hold on tight, and ride that roller coaster, but ride it with joy, love, harmony at the top of your list, and most of all, fun. The best thing that the heart responds to is fun. So being able to laugh at yourself, being able to sing in the shower and think you sound better than Freddie Mercury. These are things, these are things that will really rock your heart and make your heart free, and it frees you to hear the guidance from your deeper self, from your higher self. You know the old adage of dance like no one's watching? Well, add a bit of spice to that and tie some ribbons around yourself and be naked and have a great laugh. You know, if you could look at yourself naked in the mirror and laugh yourself silly, your heart would be so, so happy, and it would be so released of any anxiety, any stress that's in there. The heart is the most amazing organ. You know, I'm very good with a blunt knife, but I don't always get things back where they belong, but I can do it. And the heart is incredible to look at in how it works. Before I leave you and be able to chat with Kelly and Jay, whom I wish to thank very much for the privilege of being able to be with you all today, I want to share a story with you of a man that appeared in my Holistic Health and Wellness Centre, and I wasn't expecting anyone. My girls had gone home for the day, and when the doorbell went, I was rather surprised. And I went out to see this man standing in the foyer, and my first thought was CPR, where's my phone, and no deaths on my floor. This man was within a hair's breadth of dying on my floor. And I rushed over to him ever so gently and guided him to a seat, talked to him, calmed him, and I'm still thinking CPR, where's my phone, because I'm going to have to call an ambulance. And got him into, didn't have to, got him into a beautiful space of being calm, calmed his heart. Some time went by, and he was a much healthier, much happier person. And what I discovered through the way I work is that his marriage had fallen apart. Who's been there? Who's been there? Marriage fallen apart. Yes, pick me, more than once. But he hadn't left the marital home because he didn't want to leave his 8-year-old boy. And he felt, this was his denial, he felt that staying in the house allowed for his wife and boy to have a home over their heads. That wasn't his real agenda, of course. But you see, every day that he went home, when he walked in the front door, the first thing he saw was his wife and her new boyfriend canoodling on the couch. And that's what he saw every day that he went home from work. And then he would sit at the dinner table with them while they played little families, and he sat and ate dinner with them. Can you see why he was in such a state? Now, when he turned up in my wellness centre, he was actually 1 week out of hospital from his second heart attack and second stroke, and he was all of 39 years of age. He looked like he was 69 years of age the day he walked in. He was such a sick man. And when I went through the process with him, that I used my approach to find out why he'd gotten to be in this state, his heart was so broken. His soul was so depleted. And then when he come to find that and discover that, and we took the steps to help him go forward, he was amazed at what had happened in himself just through that life situation and the way that he'd taken on board his heartache. So really think about, thank you, really think about how you take emotions on and how you work with them. So thank you for being here with me today. Thank you, Kelly and Jay, for the opportunity.
You are more than welcome, Gwenda. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Does anyone have any questions for Gwenda? No? We're all good?
All good?
We're all good.
That's awesome. Have a fabulous afternoon. Thank you, everyone.